how bad of a season is this going to be for Chelsea? They're going to get knocked out of the Champions League soon enough against Real Madrid. They've just lost 2-0 to Villa at home. Shocking at the back. And their season, they're 11th now. Villa have overtaken them in 9th. The likes of Fulham, Brighton, Brentford are above them in the Premier League. They're in the bottom half of the Premier League. This is a Chelsea side that have spent 600 million since the new owners have come in, and they've basically absolutely flopped. Half their players, I mean, some of them maybe haven't had enough time. Koulibaly was, I forgot how much he was. Definitely not worth the money that was spent on him. Who else? There's Mudryk. Was he 100 million? 100 million from Shakhtar, and he's played what? He must play a bit more now, but maybe 200, 300 minutes of football for an 100 million player that would you'd think he'd be starting every game, playing the whole 90 minutes, and that would be scoring some goals. But no, he's not done any of that. You've got Havertz. Havertz as well he's maybe getting a tiny bit better, but it's still not good enough. And it's all going wrong. What is happening? We will go through all the games, but we're just going to talk about Chelsea. And you can't discredit Aston Villa for the performance, because Aston Villa were brilliant, and their 2 goals were really well took. The mistake from Cucurella, I think it was the first one. Cucurella as well. Forgot about him. He 80 million, I think, from Brighton, and Brighton have been better without him, probably. And it's just all going wrong for Chelsea. If you spend all this money, you have to get into the top 4, and they're not going to get anything this season. They're out of everything except the Champions League, and they're going to go out the Champions League, and it won't. They will finish mid-table. They'll be lucky to get 8th now. And also with Arsenal winning 4-1, they can't overtake Arsenal. 3/4 of the season through, and they can't overtake Arsenal anymore. Brilliant result for Arsenal, actually, 4-1 against Leeds. They could have their hands on the title. A lot of people were saying when Jesus was Jesus got the injury, I think, in the World Cup, and they all went, well, Arsenal are going to get overtaken by Manchester City now. In fact, they've done the opposite. They've gone further away from Manchester City. It's 8 points now, I think. And obviously we will talk about Man City, Liverpool. Man City, hammering them. But with Jesus back, and he's back on scoring form very well. So, looking good for Arsenal. They could be slowly clenching the title. As a West Ham fan, it's not very good to see Bournemouth, Palace getting late winners, but you can't do anything about that, can you? Anyway, back to Chelsea. Very, very bad result. They need to change something. I do think Potter is staying until the end of the season, but they need to get him out, I think, because I'm not a Chelsea fan, so I don't really know what they think about it. But get him out, because he's made him worse. What? Tuchel's been patient and waited, and he's got the Bayern Munich job now, and he's. I was going to say maybe he's going to beat City, but I don't think he'll beat City anyway. It depends. Maybe not. Might talk about that. Aston Villa, though, because they could get Europe. Villa could get Europe. With Unai Emery's not. They've not. Oh, what's it? Hold on. They've not scored a goal with Unai Emery there. They've scored a goal every single game Unai Emery has been in charge. Ollie Watkins has scored a goal away in his last 6 games now, it must be. So Villa are on the up. Chelsea are on the blooming way down like that. And if the likes of Villa can beat Chelsea at home as well, Chelsea at home, what are other teams going to do? What are Arsenal going to do to them? What are City going to do to them? They have City soon. I mean, West Ham got a draw to them. And really, from that performance against Villa, we were at home. We played okay. We should have won. And obviously there was that Souček handball, but we don't want to talk about that, do we? So, it's really frustrating because there's other teams. Everton got a point out of them. Their home form's shocking. How can you... Same with Spurs, with Brentford and... who is it? Brentford and Villa as well. Villa love winning 2-0 away at big clubs. Not this season, Chelsea. But, I mean, you have Mason Mount. Have you seen that video of Mason Mount in this little head thing? It's like... Your club is in a crisis, and you're there dancing with your head. Sorry, I just keep... The audio went off, which is great, because I was doing a little Mason Mount head dance for a bit. Well, let's move on, because this is Bournemouth. No, let's do City. See, Liverpool. Liverpool went 1-0 up, and Arsenal fans would have been blooming partying. But no, obviously, typical City, coming back 4-0, scoring within 1 minute of second half, which is rubbish for blooming Liverpool. And City, I don't know whether City will be able to catch Arsenal. And maybe it's not the best time to say this because they've just hammered Liverpool. I mean, what an opportunity it was for Liverpool. Why didn't they... They should have tried a bit harder. Because really, if they would have won that, they would have maybe been one of the favourites, maybe with Newcastle, to get top 4. Whereas now, I'd see Newcastle, especially if they beat Man United tomorrow, getting top 4. And we'll do our predictions soon about that. Right, Arsenal leads 4-1. Jesus back on scoring form, which is brilliant for them. There's doubts maybe, will he come back from injury and just sort of flop, But no, he's come back and he's scoring for them, which is very good for Arsenal because they won't have to use people like Eddie Nketiah and all that. Xhaka actually is really... I don't want to say this because I remember I had that argument like when we started the podcast about Arsenal and West Ham combined 11, and I argued for Souček over Xhaka, and Souček was better overall, but not anymore, to be honest. If we did it now, I think Xhaka would get over him, because Xhaka this season has had his best season and has really helped Arsenal because he's added goals to his game, which has helped him massively because he's a good defender, good defensive midfielder, and if he can score goals, he's got it. He's got the all-round thing. He's not as good as... Is he as good as Rice? I'd say this season he's as good as Rice, but not overall. There's not really any other ones. Palace actually getting back on scoring form. Forest maybe should have taken something at home against Wolves. But also, no, Forest probably should have done, because their home form was brilliant, Forest. Bournemouth not really surprised, because their home form's really good, and Fulham are... I don't want to say Fulham are on the downfall, because they're not really. It's just that they've got a few red cards. Willian and Mitrovic. I don't know whether that was a red card, because that was just stupid, wasn't it? Anyway, let's do our predictions. We'll do West Ham Southampton. Obviously, I'm going to go with West Ham win because I'm not going to do that. If West Ham don't win, it's very, very bad because we will be bottom, won't we? Because Bournemouth have won. Oh god, great. So if whoever loses goes bottom basically, or if Southampton loses, stay bottom. So we cannot lose that. Although I think at home we will get a win. I think it'll probably just edge it like 2-1 or something. Newcastle Man U, big one. I may go with the draw because Man U have actually. What was Man U's? Man U lost 7-0 and then they drew to Southampton. So I'm going to go with the draw. I'm going to just go like 1-1. Play it safe. 1-1 draw. And yeah, go with that. So what that means? So West Ham would go out of the relegation zone and Southampton would stay bottom, basically. Right then. There's not really anything else to go through, so we'll finish here. So cheers for watching. You've been watching the full-time podcast. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Goodbye.